and we are recording. Everything coming through good?
Yeah, I think we're good.
Okay, so let's just do this. Hello and welcome to the very first episode of whatever this is. I am Nick of the Shady Rogues, and I am joined by my co-host and fellow Shady Rogue, Rick. But we are on Twitch right now, where I am a Shady Rogue and Rick is also a Shady Rogue, but also Rick of Dadly Intent. Or yes, no. What is? I'm messing this.
That is my handle. Yes, Dadly Intent.
Okay, all right. I messed that up all kinds of places. Do you want to start again?
No, I think we're good.
Okay, fuck it. We're just doing this live. We're technical issues and so forth. So YouTube people, hey, we're going to talk Star Trek. We're here to talk Star Trek. And if you're seeing this video, if you're seeing this beautiful image of our boy Picard, hopefully that has bought a little bit of time in my messed up introduction. So
it is a fantastic image.
That is, yes, Father Picard holding a banana with his TV remote pointed at it. That is just beautiful.
That is technically a phaser.
That is technically a phaser. Okay, so me and my buddy Rick, we've liked Star Trek for a long time. We've done this kind of discussion about Star Trek for a long time, and we both got some brain worms and thought it would be a good idea to talk about this in front of people. So that's what we're doing.
Yeah, why not share our joy?
Yeah, we're going to share our joy. We have watched the very first episode of Star Trek Season 3, Episode 1 of Picard. We haven't watched any more. We are behind. We realize that. We're going to try to crank one of these out a week. We have purposely not talked to each other about this at all. And we have avoided, the Twitters and the spoilers and various Star Trek commentators that we like to watch to get our own take on this. So, are we just jumping in and are we just ready?
Yeah, I did have an idea. I wanted to start with the summary of the episode, if you don't mind.
You're going to start. Oh, okay. You go for it, man. Have at it.
Well, so it seemed like a good idea. Kind of frame the conversation a little bit. So, according to Paramount, after receiving a cryptic urgent distress call from Dr. Beverly Crusher, Admiral Jean-Luc Picard enlists the help from generations old and new to embark on one final adventure, a daring mission that will change Starfleet and his old crew forever.
I guess that's what happened.
I will say that the crew is old, so that is factual.
That is factual. Okay. So, I have an outline, and just to, keep my thoughts, I get distracted in this. So I think we need to talk about the I guess the elephant in the room, and I consider the elephant in the room to be Dr. Beverly Crusher and her pump action phaser rifle.
That was the first thing I had a sort of visceral reaction to, the pump action phaser.
Yes. So we paused. I watched this with my wife to back up. Also, fellow Shady Rogue Jess, for those of you familiar. I kept pausing the show to take notes, and I feel like that very first scene with Dr. Spine Crusher, as I'm calling her now, and her shooting, shoot with the pump action phaser rifle. Yeah, that really bothered me. and well, you said you had a visceral reaction, so please jump in.
Yeah, I think it's worth mentioning. Like, I saw Picard seasons 1 and 2. Yeah, with 3, they're bringing back the old crew. There's some hope that maybe this might be more like Star Trek as I know it, like social commentary, solving a mystery, that kind of stuff, right?
Yeah.
But it's clear in that first few minutes that they're really trying to push the action angle. This is movie Picard.
Yes, this is movie Picard. Yep.
Yeah. So in that light, like, I'm okay with the action. I know I'm not going to get the thing that I grew up with, and that's okay. I can still enjoy, fun action adventure in space. But there's the universe that's been set, right? And there's established weapons and all this other stuff. And a pump action phaser is quite novel, and it
looks
leads me to
cool.
believe, yeah, it's kind of it's like a big dumb weapon, because a shotgun, you pump it, and it just makes sense to somebody who made this. That was super cool.
Yeah.
And I'm not really a fan of doing things just for that case. I care a little bit about the continuity of things. Like, I haven't seen a pump action phaser before. I don't think it's 20 years later that's what they're going with now. It also ran out of energy very quickly. Maybe it got jammed with the phaser projector or something. I don't know.
Well, okay. Well, I'll jump in there. A lot of times in like previous Star Trek, when phasers looked more like remotes, like the image that we have, right there. It seems like, they would kind of like, it would just kind of beam out, and they would usually run out of juice fairly quickly too. And I know that's kind of like a television effect, like to build suspense and danger. But also I kind of felt like we don't use these very often, because we live in the enlightened 25th century and we don't use shotguns anymore. We just kind of use this all-purpose beam tool weapon, and sometimes it's a weapon, but most of the time we use it for mining or something. That's kind of my take. That we don't need to jettison a clip in our phaser gun kind of deal, which is way more like action Hollywood style and less sci-fi.
Yeah.
Also, I made a note that like more shots were fired in that scene. Like the gunfight. Like there was just so many like Star Wars style blaster bolts being shot. Like just I bet if some nerd like just counted all the shots, that would be all of the original series, all of Next Generation, probably up through like Voyager. Like the
was
sheer amount of
a phaser machine gun.
Yeah. If this is episode 1, I can't wait to see Worf in his like his purple space bazooka or his like phaser Vulcan cannon, like out like Jesse Ventura out of Predator, like just something completely over the top. And the other thing that really stood out in that scene is is when Dr. Beverly Spinecrusher ended the bird person, or as Jess called him, the Harry Potter Death Eater. She ended that guy with a phaser blast to the back of the head. And I just want to applaud the vision of Star Trek Picard for that. That really got it got an emotional response out of me.
Yeah, not the emotion I think that we're looking for.
Mm-mm. So yeah, I mean it's I do have like, I mean, so I guess let's move on from that, just to keep going. So she sends out her distress signal, and it goes to Picard. I guess this is kind of like one part of the A story. I don't necessarily think you can call this the B story or the C story. It's kind of like rolled into the main story. Where did Beverly go 20 years ago? So she sends
this message is for Admiral Jean-Luc Picard. Cue the dramatic music.
Yeah. And they did change. Like, I was surprised, like, to back up, I saw Picard season 1. I didn't watch season 2, although
I checked out.
Yeah, I checked out. Yeah, maybe if this continues on past, season 3, maybe we can revisit some of that stuff, but that cart is way in front of the horse for right now. But like, I do know what happened in season 2, and I just followed my internet personalities for commentary on that and I enjoyed it because it was pretty damn funny, because I hear season 2 was pretty damn bad. So I feel like that they've jettisoned most of season 1 and 2, like with the cast, except for like Raffi and Seven of Nine. Really, I mean, they even jettisoned like the theme song and music. Like, yeah.
2 I don't think is really worth watching, so for sure.
Except for
I think 1 is arguable. Yeah, as a longtime Star Trek fan, the first 2 seasons are problematic for sure. Each season's pretty disconnected from the prior season, so they're kind of self-contained. You can watch season 2 without seeing season 1 and enjoy it for what it is. I have a sense that season 3 is like that too. We're jumping into something that looks completely not familiar. Like it looks like a brand new story, and of course a lot of the old cast will not be in it.
Yeah, because other people, went off to join the Borg or got left in the shitty past, or or whatever, or just got written out of the show. I guess I'm sure people will make an appearance, but I guess that's a sidetrack. So let's keep going with like the A story. So Beverly Crusher sends a text message to Jean-Luc Picard's 30-year-old beeper, and that's fine. At this point in time, to give a little, like, something my wife said, like the previous scene with Dr. Crusher on the ship, there was like this panning over with all the stuff, and then then when we come into Picard's house, there's the panning over with like all the stuff, and like that. It irritated Jess, I think, more than it did me, but I do think that it kind of goes into like, there's all of these like little Easter eggs, but they don't really amount to anything. It's just like all of these pieces. Like, don't you like this, nerds? Like, you didn't you didn't like the first couple of seasons. Will you still be friends with me? Here's all this stuff. Here's Picard in his little flute. Don't you remember that really good episode of Next Generation that made you feel the feelings? Please feel feelings here.
Borrowing hard from that material. That's funny because you mentioned that. I saw an interview with Terry Matalas, the showrunner.
Oh, I have no idea
exactly who that the same thing you did.
Oh, he did?
He said, and I can't remember the person's name, but he had somebody go through the Next Generation and find things to put in that scene. And he also said that they aren't really connected to the plot. Like, they're literally just there for Easter eggs.
Okay.
And I don't feel great about that. I do like Easter eggs, but I don't know. It's really, I don't know, like, if it doesn't advance the plot, it's kind of time taken away from making a better show, probably. So I don't know, they're really trying to appeal to your feelings.
Okay, so I might be jumping ahead and tangenting, but I feel like this is a better place to talk about this. Like, one of my big like takeaways based on what you just said that I had no idea, Terry McWhoever was saying about the show, that we're putting these Easter eggs in there just to appeal and make your brain remember a better show. My take, like the reason why I wanted to put like this picture of this beautiful man, Jean-Luc Picard, who basically looks like a priest, like he's got a priest collar, and he's holding, a banana with a phaser that totally looks like a remote control edit. Like you fed information into a what is it, Dolly 2? Is that it?
Yeah, that's it.
Okay, so it's a fun thing. Little aside, I'm sorry that it's taking artist jobs and so forth. That's bad, but it's a fun toy. So you fed data in there, and he fed Easter eggs in there, and this is what you get. Like, so is like, my take is that this is just made by an AI. Like, and I feel like that what you said kind of validates my feelings, at least.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't feel too far off from that. Like, something feels off. Just like this AI stuff. It's a really good sort of metaphor. Like, it has Picard, and it's got Riker, and it has these other people, and it has all of these things from prior Treks, but it's not more of the thing that I love. It's something a little different.
It's no substance. It's just, it looks like it, but it doesn't feel like it.
Yeah. Like
there's something missing. Just like this picture, even though when you sent me this picture, I was like, oh, this beautiful man, I love it. Like, it was funny. Like, there's more humor in this picture than there is emotional connection in this show. And I guess we should actually talk about it. Like we should actually discuss what happened in the show. Yes.
Yeah, probably at some point.
Okay, so let's back up because I have more points about like the overall show, but let's talk about, like, okay, so he gets his text message and he talks to his Picard has to talk to his girlfriend, and then she walks out of the show, I assume, and he goes and meets up with Riker in a bar, and he immediately does what Beverly Spinecrusher told him not to do, which is tell anybody, and don't tell anybody in Starfleet. So he immediately told somebody in Starfleet in a bar. And that also, and there was that scene where like somebody kind of looked suspiciously at the camera or whatever, like, oh yeah. Yes. Yeah. Foreshadowing, whatever.
Foreshadowing.
Yeah. So they go to Riker. Okay, I want to say something nice about the show. I want to say something nice because I don't want to just beat it with sticks. I like Picard and Riker.
Yeah, I was going to say that too. I'm trying to be mindful of positive things to say about the show. There's a lot that I don't like, but their interaction, their relationship, I really like that, and it's very different than it was in like the Next Generation. Picard's very stuffy. It's very formal. They don't have as much fun with each other, I don't think. But in Picard, like they have like this sort of fun relationship, which I appreciate.
It's more playful.
Yeah,
it's more like old friends, and that's nice. And that's the kind of nostalgia that I can get behind. That made me feel some warm fifis. I liked it. Unfortunately, that was 23 minutes into the damn show. I was like, I like this. And that was something that Jess liked too. That it's like, I like they've still got some chemistry. When they get on the ship, there's a little bit of that like kind of let's show off the ship. Look at this cool ship that's very reminiscent of other like Star Trek properties. All that's fine. A little bit of like, Starfleet ship porn, if you will. Look at that ship. Oh, it's beautiful. But at that point in time, like, we know that they're there to basically not commandeer the ship, but like, lightly guide it to where they need to go. And at that point in time, Jess is like, how many people on that ship? They're going to take all those people out to like danger place to meet up with Dr. Crusher. And like, my answer was like, I guess there's about like, I don't know, 1,000 people on that ship. I don't know. Maybe not, because apparently they automate some stuff. So maybe it's like 800 people, but there's probably families on there and all, it's a Starship ship. So there's going to be a lot of people. So I did think that was interesting for her to pick up on, which goes into, the Captain Shaw stuff, because that's something I really want to talk to you about.
Captain Shaw is something a little different than I'm used to.
Okay, so what's your take on Captain Shaw, because and his relationship to Annika, whoever, otherwise known as 7 of 9?
I don't know why she's his first officer, because it seems like he does not trust her because she's a Borg.
Okay.
He's like Borg racist.
Okay, yeah, a little, yeah, he's coded a little racist, intolerant. Also, I know there's been a little bit of a time jump, but did she go through Starfleet and go, like, I'm misremembering, like, her relationship to Starfleet. Did all those...
She's the famous 7 of 9.
So
to be fair, I think she deserves a field promotion. She's been through a lot.
Well, I was going to say...
so why not make the jump to first officer?
Did Janeway basically just say she's... she doesn't need to go through the academy or anything like that, which I guess she could probably go through the academy in like a weekend or something like that.
Admiral Janeway, so yeah, there's right way, the wrong way, and then the Janeway. This looks like the Janeway.
Okay, so nepotism. Not to say, but I mean, she is capable. And basically, like, if you're going to put a shitty cat, or at least the show wants you to think he's a shitty captain, I actually think he's right, other than,
he's actually... like, when it comes to being right, he's definitely on the high ground. Like, he's about, reducing risk to his people, like staying alive. It totally makes sense from a captain's perspective.
Yeah.
And I kind of respect, like, he's like, no.
But the entire time that he is saying that, they have spooky music playing. They got the evil keys playing, telling you that you're supposed to not like this guy because he is not using 7 of 9's name that she wants to be addressed by, which I have some issues with that. But and also I feel like the show writers, the show is telling you he's a bigot, he's intolerant, he doesn't trust the Borg, and which when it comes to the Borg, I'm like, well, you shouldn't. I mean, let's be honest. I mean, that's one of the biggest threats in the show that they haven't made peace with. They have shown the capacity to de-assimilate people, which is honestly an aspect of the show that I really liked from both Voyager and season 1 of Picard. And then they just blew all those people out into space, and I fucking hated it. But to stay on this part, like I mean, the Borg are a threat. They are. I mean, their way of life is completely incompatible with Starfleet, or I should say, it's the Federation. Like
except the new Borg.
Except for the new Borg.
The new Borg want to be your friends.
Oh, are they basically saying that? Oh God. Well, I'm just wrong. The new Borg just want to be your friends. Okay.
Well, I think the bad Borg are still out there probably, but it's hard to tell.
Assimilation for everybody that wants it. Yes, thank you.
It's a very centrist Borg.
Yes, and I want to underline centrism because I think that's the problem with the show. Okay. So he was right as far as like, hey, I've got a job to do. We're going to go do it. I don't know what you all have in mind, even though I don't really know. I guess he was only distrustful of Picard because he was also maybe assimilated at one point in time. Like, I don't think Picard really has a reputation for being like a troublemaker, like, say,
that's
Kirk.
How I interpreted it. Yeah.
Okay. And then he was just kind of shitty with Riker just because he was just being shitty with everybody at dinner.
Yeah, he's a prickly character, like prickly in a bad way.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they do that on purpose to make you not like him, I'm sure. But his decision making seemed pretty sound for the most part.
Yeah, it's just the way it was clear. I guess it wasn't entirely clear if he was doing this because he just didn't like these people. Yeah. And I guess to go back to what you said about like centrism, that is a vibe that I get with the show. Okay. I'm a left-leaning person. I am to the left of this show, and that kind of, and I feel like I lined up more politically with Deep Space Nine and all the way back, so to speak. But I feel like that politically speaking, the ideals of the show have been kind of gone, except for like this diverse vision of the future with like this multiracial, multicultural coalition trying to strive for a better future that also eliminated poverty and hunger and disease and all that kind of stuff. Like, I don't think they're going to touch any of like the non-racial stuff in Star Trek anymore. I mean, I haven't watched I haven't watched Discovery past season 2, which is a show that I liked better than Picard. I have my problems with like Discovery because it's also kind of dumb action schlock. But at least it's got like the diversity right. Like, you know, it's that does line up with the, you know, multicultural vision of the future that Star Trek had. But like,
yeah, future diverse.
Yeah, but I feel like we're not in, like, I feel like that we're not post scarcity anymore with Picard, and I don't think they're going to like touch that. But that being said, I think that, you know, maybe, you know, depending on who you ask, there have been episodes that don't land with the politics of the day. Like, they kind of maybe try to calibrate the centrism a little too much. And I think Shaw is a problem in that they try to make him the bad guy because he doesn't respect Seven of Nine's culture, which is a shitty thing. And also, it made me think of the trans oppression in America right now, and like all the talk of like, why do we have to use these pronouns and so forth? So I kind of felt like they were trying to invoke that he was not respecting her identity and trying to invoke like you're not supposed to like him because, hey, here, we're pro-trans, but this captain still has a place of power, and that is essentially an endorsement of the policies that he carries out on this ship. and Picard and Riker still don't do shit in the face of that kind of disrespect and oppression. So those are the heroes of the show, not doing anything. And, hey.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. So, and I don't know what he's supposed to do. And my take would be, maybe that's the time that Picard does a Picard speech, like, blah, 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 blah. Whatever. I ain't writing this show. Make it up. Make it so. Whatever.
Well, they love speeches in the show, so.
Yeah. But it's going to be
There's
about...
a bright light. It's so warm. When a child smiles.
It would be a speech about mystery and blah, 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 blah. Like, it wouldn't be about, like, scientific discovery and trying to, unlock a scientific mystery. It would just be, like, fortune cookie platitudes, which... The interaction between Picard and his girlfriend, I felt like all this was just like Easter eggs and fortune cookie sayings when they were talking. But anyway. So
yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
Somehow in the future, too, they haven't figured out how to solve drug addiction. It seems like Raffi's still struggling with that.
Perfect. Thank you. Yes, thank you. I think that goes into the calibrating the centrism, where you have, I think, some very questionable representation in this show, where you have, like, in previous Star Trek iterations, you have Uhura, you have Geordi, and you have Cisco, and they're black people existing, just living their lives, professionals and normal. And then you have the problem character, who is basically like a mentally ill, drug-addled,
alcoholic,
bad mom,
destitute.
Yeah, like
somehow there's nobody, but
yeah,
she's living in a trailer or whatever. I never understood that.
Yeah, and it's basically like did Space, Joe Manchin and Kristen Sinema like take away her services, and now she has to work for Starfleet intelligence to get her benefits? Like, is it a work requirement now? Did they roll back? Are we in a scarcity environment again? Did they kick her off her benefits or whatever? Like, why? Like I feel like that is a perfect opportunity to show what a vision of mental health care and universal health care would look like. But no, you've got Raffi in Star Trek The Wire or Star Trek 24, Raffi, a special agent of the Federation. Like, and don't get me wrong, I like the actor. Like, I actually think that she should have been Picard's ex-girlfriend, because there was that whole, like, what did she call him that I hated?
It felt like they were leading up to that in the first season.
JT? Did you call John?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're obviously very close.
Yeah, like closer than really anybody else. And I was like, is that the ex-girlfriend? Like, is that an ex-girlfriend? You know?
Yeah, I wondered that too. They never really took that anywhere, though.
But yeah, I mean, this is like, I feel like it's my understanding that like particularly like Avery Brooks wanted to be like a good black father figure. Like, he really wanted to like have good black representation in that show, and it really came like that came across, because I think he's the parent of the best parent. Speaking as a parent myself, the best dad in Star Trek, really. And I kind of feel like it's like, wow, this is kind of shitty representation. Not that you can't have like a black villain or whatever, but it's like she's like, it looks too much like 80s television or like 70s, that seedy urban coding kind of BS that was like everywhere.
Yeah, The Wire was a good suggestion.
a comparison, I guess. Yeah, whatever. Like, I really liked The Wire. I recommend it. I don't know if you watched it or not. Did you ever watch The Wire?
I watched some of it. I never actually finished it, though.
Okay, yeah. I want to go back and watch that, but that is definitely a tangent. So, like, it's just like, wow, we've got, like, yay, first gritty police drama Star Trek. And I don't want that in there. Because, I mean, and that gets into, like, oh, we're going to have, like, increased policing. And, yeah, that totally really, that works at all. Yeah, we'll just have more cops and more military, like the real world. Because that totally works.
Oh. Yeah, it's very different than the Trek I know.
Yeah, okay. So I had two do you want to go to kind of like overall, or do you want to like talk about like more stuff, more problems with the show or more plot stuff?
Oh, there's so many ways to do this. I mean, we could talk about scenes, we could talk about, I don't know, characters, just yeah.
I will say that, like, I feel like that. Okay, well, who do you think Raffi's handler is? Because if you don't see the face, then it's somebody that we know. That's a rule of thumb. Rule of thumb.
Yeah, I don't know. And at first I thought she was talking to some weird, like, I don't know, AI or something. Yeah. It's like, oh, okay, they're outsourcing this stuff to ChatGPT now, but
yeah,
tell me what to do. Clear by the end it's a human, right? So
yeah,
there's someone at Starfleet that's using a chatbot to talk to her for some reason.
Okay. Yeah, so
I can't say I know. I don't really know who it could be.
Okay.
But I assume it's probably one of the crew.
Oh, is it going to be like Geordi or something, or Worf? Worf, maybe?
They only have so many episodes, and they got to connect everybody together.
Yeah, everybody's going to show up.
I don't think it's Geordi, because I suspect Geordi, like he's working at the museum or whatever, right? So
okay, yeah, and there was his kid. His kid was an Easter egg, so. And I thought, honestly, I kind of thought that was cute because she just looked so happy. She was so happy to be in, Starfleet, making a better tomorrow through scientific discovery and peaceful negotiations of conflicts. Yeah.
Yeah.
As she loads her pump action phaser rifle. Piece of the grave, motherfuckers.
That reminds me too, like the new ship design. What is old is new. Kind of like going back in time to pump action phasers. We now have a Constitution class looking starship.
Oh, that's a little too nerdy for me, but I get it. Yeah. I mean, yeah. I would like a little bit more variation in ships, other than just that formation of ship, that configuration, that shape.
I love the Galaxy class, but as they mentioned, nobody likes the fat ones.
Or are they talking about like the science vessels and so forth? Like the kind of...
No, in the bar they had Riker made that comment. They had like little Enterprise D.
Yeah.
Models.
Yeah. And
that nobody likes the fat ones.
Oh, wah.
Which I thought was kind of funny. I appreciate that little jab at the next generation.
Okay. Yeah. All right.
It's okay to have fun with it.
I wish there was more fun with it instead of like just this dark and gritty.
Yeah, I'm so uninterested in Raffi's whatever's happening there. I don't care.
I mean, I'm
sure it drives the plot and whatever, but like I am just so not interested in her entire whatever she's doing on that crappy planet. I can't remember where it was, but jeez.
Planet scum and villainy. I don't know.
Yeah. Like more Picard and Riker. That's more of what I want.
Yeah, I mean, why does it have to be like more section? What is it? Section 42, 43. What is it? It's more of that bullshit. essentially. Star Trek CIA.
Section 31.
Section 31. Okay, yeah. Which, when they paint them as the bad guys and something like against the ideals of like of Starfleet and the Federation, it was done better in Deep Space Nine. So yeah, I guess I'll wrap up my kind of thought because we're coming in at about 42 minutes.
That's all.
Yeah, we've already been going for 42 minutes. Like my take on definitely Star Trek Picard is that first off, Star Trek peaked with DS9, and it's like the writers cannot imagine a world, a galaxy with no war. It's like this is going to be another threat on fringe space where they have to send a bunch of ships to destroy the clearly evil ship, like that evil death ship with the Inception horn playing behind it, and it's like, I think this ship might be bad. The ship operated by the dressed all in black plague doctors, Death Eaters, that Dr. Spine Crusher is just forced to forego her Hippocratic oath and just gun them down because she must to defend the homestead. Like, just, I mean, it like, that's Star Trek in like imperialism, and I really don't want that. I am sure that you can make a case for like all the other Star Treks being like, somewhat pro imperialism to a degree, but it to me it was at least trying to show like, this is the Space United Nations, even though everybody in the show is clearly part of Space America. I get that.
Star Trek's always had that really sort of idealistic American vibe. Yeah, totally. Every time they show that ship, it's like
evil keys.
It's like terrorism or whatever. Like from the trailers, right? It looks bad. It's more dark stuff. More war, more the galaxies in danger or whatever.
We have to stop Space 9/11, even though the Space CIA couldn't do it. Like, immediately they fuck up.
So it's not like the series, right? Well, not older series. Like the Next Generation.
Yeah, I mean,
there's smaller stories, and this is everything is in danger, and it's exciting, right? So, back to that sort of movie Picard thing, and I can appreciate that like on its own, but since it shares like the Star Trek name, I'm going to be critical of that approach, because that is not the Star Trek that I know.
Yeah, and I mean, I do want to go, like, one of these days I want to go back and like watch some of this like again, because my politics have changed. Like, I'm curious, but like they turned, like, I feel like Star Trek, at least Star Trek Picard, isn't even like science fiction anymore. Like, it's a thriller or a mystery. It's not like, how do we determine if this whatever that we just found is a threat or not? Like, let's
to be fair, it like just right off the gate or out of the gate, they were in space. So that's an improvement, I think, over season 1.
Yes, thank you. Yes,
season 2.
Well, I'm just totally wrong then.
It's still definitely. I think it's science fiction. I think that's fair. I'll to be honest, like, when I like look at that episode with not thinking about Star Trek. I don't mind it. I don't think it's terrible. I would come back for a second episode.
Yeah, I didn't. Oh, okay, I want to make this clear because we have shit on this show, and I know I have. Like, I've taken a massive crap on this show. I didn't hate it, but I was hate watching it. Like, I did enjoy it, but I enjoyed watching this in preparation for our discussion because I really liked talking Star Trek with you, and I really liked watching it with my wife. We enjoyed it. Like, it wasn't that bad. It wasn't a war crime. It didn't wreck my childhood. It just made me, it was disposable. I kind of want to see where things go, but it doesn't feel like Star Trek to me because there is no vision. Like, it has, like, it's not the inner light, and there's never going to be any more, like, there's not going to be any fun episodes. They're not going to play baseball. Quark's bar is not going to unionize. Like, just like all the, like, there's not going to be any like holodeck episodes. I don't think anybody else is going to join the Federation. There's not going to be like politicking. Like, there will only be the peace of the grave. There will be not, they will make peace that way, unfortunately. So, and I think that's a problem.
It may not be the inner light, but it did have the Resican flute from the inner light.
Thank you.
There's that.
Thank you. I want, one more thing on like the centrism and the not wanting to piss either side off. And I want to talk about like the long lost child, the whoever Beverly Crusher's long lost child, and then I've got a surprise for you that I want to show, and then we can wrap because we've been almost going for okay. I got a surprise, but like, why in the hell? I mean, if she like, we don't like this is episode 1. We don't know whose kid that is, and I assume that it was like maybe she was pregnant, and that's a retcon explanation for where she went in season 2 of Next Generation. Maybe. Do you think?
Huh.
Did you?
That's an interesting idea.
Okay, so I don't know. I haven't listened to any kind of spoilers. They might. No. I assume they're going to tell exactly where he came from in episode 2, and I'll find out. Tomorrow when me and Jess watch it. But like, would it be so difficult for her to just get a space abortion, or I mean,
certainly the prophylactics of the 24th and 25th century work really well. Why not do that?
Or
I don't know.
Okay, I'll tell you something. Just a little aside. Me and like when I watched Foundation. Is it Foundation or Foundations? The series on Apple Plus. I
think it's Foundation.
Foundation. I really liked that, and I thought it was really cool that they had, future space family planning. Because somebody gets pregnant and they're like, holy shit, I can't possibly be pregnant right now because reasons. And they just take the fertilized egg and put it in a bank, and no big deal. Like they did a futuristic sci-fi thing to kind of, hey, in the future, if you want to be pregnant, you can be pregnant. And, it's just kind of a part of healthcare. She went to a doctor. She didn't go to a back alley, whoever with a coat hanger. Like they just resolved it. And I feel like that this is, I feel like this show would be terrified to use the word abortion or whatever. Like the enlightened people of the 25th century can't deal with reproductive healthcare. Like they have to calibrate the centrism, and that was something that came to me. and it just irritated me. Like, I just feel like the show is so centrist. Like, so nothing but war, no peace. Support the troops. Support, we're just all the money goes there. So that's my final thought. I'll stop bitching on that.
That's assuming that he is, Picard's son. He does have a British accent, so I'm just going to throw that out there.
So he has to be Picard's. So he's obviously obviously French.
He's obviously French. Yeah,
yes.
He'll be the second most British Frenchman in Starfleet.
Okay, so I think that's it. I want to show my surprise to Rick. A little bit of a palate cleanse to go along with our beautiful Star Trek Picard picture that hopefully all of you have been staring at dreamily at it and just basking in his awesomeness. So now I want to try to change my picture because I have 2 other pictures that I generated with Dolly 2, and I tried desperately to get Dr. Crusher shooting a Death Eater with a double barrel phaser rifle.
Nice.
I desperately tried, and I could not do it. So I am going to try to change the wallpaper. I'm going to try.
While you do that, I wanted you to know that I also had ChatGPT generate what it thought season 3, episode 1 could have if it was a revenge story. And
can I show the pictures? Can I show the pictures?
Yeah.
First?
Oh no.
So.
Oh man, I love Dolly.
Dolly's fun. I'm sorry it's taking jobs. That's a discussion.
Well,
so
by the look of this, I don't think it's taking some people's jobs.
Those jobs are safe. Don't worry.
Most jobs are safe.
This one is this one was Jess's favorite.
It's pretty good.
So basically, that thing in her hand was what Dolly thought a
phaser shotgun?
A phaser shotgun was. So it basically looks like, I don't know, some sort of like space cleaning device or maybe a closed space umbrella. Maybe, and also we couldn't get a Death Eater to work. So then I went with like Plague Doctor. So that's what Dolly thought a Plague Doctor was.
Okay.
And also Jess thought Scully, but from the X-Files, but I thought Nancy Pelosi.
Yeah, that's it. Very much.
Okay, so, and yes, that's okay. So, and this, and it also kind of makes me think of like the farmer and his wife painting. That, yeah, it makes me think of that. I can't remember what that's called.
Well, all these things could be inspiration for Dolly, so
okay,
makes sense.
So that's fun. All right, so I got one more, and then I think this is more appropriate to what I think of the new Dr. Crusher. Drum roll. Is it there?
Yeah, I see it.
So we have I don't know, the Sith Emperor in the background, Muppet version with...
She needs a manicure.
With her, I don't know, some sort of like Sith weapon. Like I feel like she looks like an evil doctor. Like I love this. So yes.
Man. AI is fun.
AI is fun. So I think that for the next episode, we should totally keep doing the Dolly picks. Because
I would agree with that.
That's great. Okay, so do you want to share your AI gift, and then
it's actually quite long. I will say in summary, it is it's kind of bland. But it feels actually more like something from the next generation, which is funny.
That might be accurate, and maybe that's why they didn't go with that.
Yeah, actually. So I'll see if I can copy and paste it here in the chat.
Okay. Or hey, send it to me, and I'll put it in the description on YouTube, or I'll pin, or I'll put it somewhere. Like send it to me, and I'll put it in the description of the YouTube video. Good deal?
Yeah, I'll send it on over.
Okay. All right. So anything before we plug our social media and wrap this?
Nope, not at all.
Okay. Thank you, people watching this live. If you like this, give us a follow on the Twitch machine. People of the future, if you like this on the YouTube and you want to see more of this, you want to hear more of us, badmouth your favorite Star Trek show.
Oh, it's not all bad.
It's not all bad. It's not all bad. But if you like this, subscribe to the Shady Rogues YouTube channel. Give a thumbs up. Give us a comment. Tell us what we got wrong. Tell us what we got right. Hey, let's figure this out. Let's explore some ideas. So there you go. I had a blast. This was fun. And I'm signed up for at least 9 more episodes in this season.
Oh, well, now you have episode 2 to look forward to, which is out.
Okay, all right. Maybe I'll watch that tonight. And all right, are we ready to at least end the recording?
Yeah, that's good. I'm going to email you the story here. It's fine.
Okay, all right. Bye, YouTube.
Later.
Bye.